Hi guys, welcome to Etech. Today we're going to be unboxing what I hope is my GTX 1080. So this is an Asus Strix edition. Originally ordered a OC edition. However, I don't know, they seem to be having issues with that, and I've had it on order for about 2 months and eventually got them to change it to the Advanced edition, which is kind of between the stock and the OC edition. So let's just jump right in. Yep. So this is the Asus GTX 1080, and it's the A8G Gaming Edition. So let's just fire the box open. Certainly nice packaging anyway. So this has 8 gigs of VRAM, GDDR5X I believe. So in here we have, if I ever get it open, download warships from Asus website. We have the driver CD, download the latest ones from NVIDIA. You can maybe use OC tools off of the disk initially. Speed setup guide, generally if you're buying a card this caliber, don't need that. We have a 2 6-pin to 1 8-pin connector. If you have a card like this, again, you're probably going to have a power supply to take it. Don't need that. And that's pretty much what's in the box. So let's get to the card itself. Yep, that's all that's in the box. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll zoom it in and you can get a closer look at the card. Okay, so this card is a 3-fan blade design, so that should keep the 1080 nice and cool. This card has a 3-year warranty, which is a maximum airflow of 30% cooler with patented wing blades. Not entirely sure what they mean by that. So this uses Asus's Auto Extreme technology, which is basically meaning that it is a 100% automated process. So these aren't built by people anymore really, they're just built by robots. This card also features the Aurora RGB lighting. So basically these sections of the fan light up, as well as the ROG logo on the back. So also this card is apparently VR friendly. So this card has 2 HDMI ports and 2 display ports and a DVI-D port. So no shortage of connectivity there. Let's just pull these out and have a look at the connectivity. If I can get them out. That one's being stubborn. Gotcha. So we have 2 HDMI ports, 2 display ports, and a DVI digital port. small vent on the back. Not sure why. It's not like there's much heat going out the back. This will dump heat into your case by the ton. However, the card might run quite cool, but from what I've heard, they're quite hot cards, which is surprising. So this card also has another unique feature on it, and that is that you can connect two PWM fans. Connector for two PWM fans. So basically this will allow you to connect two fans directly to your GPU, and it will basically, the GPU will ramp these fans up and down as load on and temperature on the GPU increase, which is pretty awesome. I do plan to use that with the front two fans in my case. Quite a nice backplate as well. Full cover backplate. I mean, this is a beast of a card. Nothing like the sound of peeling the film off. As usual, you've also got the GPU Tweak 2. And this also includes XSplit Gamecaster with the software bundle, which is pretty awesome. So what I'll do is I'll get this into the case. Okay, so we've got the card in the system. I've run a Srtix Ultimate benchmark, and we've got a score of 5,539, which is pretty good. Graphics score of 5,481, which is awesome for a single card. That single card is pretty much maybe just slightly more than what I used to get with two R9 390s in Crossfire, so that's awesome. Physics score, kind of relevant for this, but it's 7,180. Not too bad. Let's move on to some Metro Last Light. So, a couple of benchmarks here. First one came out with an average frame rate of 21.62 at 4K. Max settings, pretty good going. There was a couple of runs through that benchmark. The second scene came out pretty much the same as the first, an average of 21.44, and the third run came out at 21.59. The max frame rates are kind of quite high. However, I mean, looking at the graphs, they are literally just spikes, so take them with a pinch of salt. Overall, apparently, the average results were 21.33 frames a second. The max was 162.50, and the minimum was 8.83, and these are at 4K. That minimum frame rate, yeah, you're gonna notice that. Okay, moving on to some BF4 now. As you can see on the screen, we are going to set it up so that we are on ultra settings. Any second now, hopefully. So we're on ultra settings, set to 4K with the GTX 1080. So let's see what kind of frame rates we get here. I'm pretty sure they're going to be north of 60 anyway. So the top left hand corner, you can see we're setting at 87 frames a second. This is just on the test range, so pretty decent. So yeah, Battlefield 4, 4K, no problems at all. It does, I think, go up to about 90 to 100 frames a second in places. So yeah, Battlefield 4, GTX 1080, meh, no problem. Okay, moving on to Hitman Absolution. At 4K ultra settings, we end up with a final benchmark result of a minimum frame rate of 72, a maximum of 94, and an average of 82. At 4K, yeah, that's not a problem. Anything over 60 FPS as an average is pretty damn good. Most 4K screens currently are only 60 Hz anyway, so moving on. Okay, so let's move on to some Tomb Raider. At 4K ultra settings, and we end up with an average frame rate of 62.7, a minimum of 46.6, and a max of 76, which are all pretty respectable, especially at 4K gaming. So I think that concludes the benchmark runs for the moment. Okay, so 4K benchmarks on this are actually pretty respectable, more than playable. We're getting the kind of results I was getting with two cards Crossfire before. So that is awesome, because previously my system used to pull around about maybe a kilowatt from the wall under like gaming loads, which is insane considering the power supply was only 860 watts. Of course, there do overbuild their power supplies, but you're probably not supposed to consistently pull that. So the power consumption on this system now is ridiculous. I mean, it's like barely hitting 300 to 350 watts, and everything's overclocked. So that's awesome. I mean, even at idle, I mean, let me just have a quick check. At idle, this pretty heavily overclocked system is sitting at around, I mean, at idle, we're like 180 watts. So that's from the wall. Under 400 watts for gaming, fantastic. Saves me a fortune on my power bill. But let's talk about acoustics. I mean, this card is ridiculously quiet. I mean, the fans barely even spin. I mean, generally they're off when your system's idling, but even under gaming loads, they spin up and then spin down again. So that is with an overclock on the cards as well. So, I mean, I haven't come across an instance where I've actually noticed an acoustical difference in the room when playing games or, you know, running folding at home or something. When the card's flat out, doesn't even phase the cooling system on this card, which is absolutely amazing. And the boost clock was tending to sit just under the 2 gigahertz mark, which I couldn't push the card beyond that, really. It would just lock up. But all in all, pretty good card. Asus Advanced edition of the 1080. So that's pretty much a wrap. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up the video if you liked it, and please subscribe.